Hey guys, so I thought I would jump on here really fast. I am actually working in the salon today, but I had a few minutes of downtime. So I went out and I picked some more elderberries. This is my second batch of elderberries. And these are the peaches that I got from the orchard the other day when me and the girls went to the orchard. So tonight, when I get off work, these two things are definitely going to have to be processed. In the past, I got a bunch of peaches. But this time I didn't get as many. I only got a box. So I'm probably just going to freeze them. Usually I can them up and we like them a lot. If we do get any more peaches, I'll probably go ahead and can them. But this will probably be all that we get. They raised a whole lot in price this year. So I guess I better start planting peach trees. But anyway, so how I'm going to preserve these peaches is I'm just going to chop them up and I'm going to flash freeze them. I think that's how you call them. You just lay them out on a cookie sheet and separate it and let them freeze, and then they won't stick together near as bad in the freezer bag. So if I had a whole bunch, I would definitely can them and put them up. So I'll see you back later on. All right, everybody, I'm done working in the salon tonight. I've got everybody fed and on their way. So I have been working on taking the elderberries off their stems. I've got one batch that is boiling and getting the juice from them. The last round of elderberries that I got, I was able to get about 4 of these jars. These are just used maple syrup jars that I reuse. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to make jelly out of the rest of it. I did freeze some as well. Those could be put in smoothies, or I could thaw them out for elderberry syrup as well. So the elderberry syrup, how I make it is 3 cups of the juice to 1 cup of your local honey. So and then I just refrigerate it for 3 to 6 months, but usually we go through it pretty quickly, especially around cold and flu season. So I'm going to go ahead and work on these, and then I'm going to get to my peaches. I have all of those to cut up, and then I am going to flash freeze them. I'm just going to lay them out on a cookie sheet and put them in my deep freeze. And then whenever they're frozen, I'm going to put them into gallon bags. Okay, so my last elderberry video was kind of a flop. I had some technical camera difficulties and I ended up chopping my head off, so I don't know that I'm even going to publish it. But I will tell you how I did my elderberry syrup. So I ended up getting about 12 cups of elderberries. The way I make syrup, it's pretty simple. It was just 12 cups of elderberries to 12 cups of water, and I cooked it down until I got the juice from the elderberry. After that, I let it cool because I was going to be adding honey, and I always get local honey, which they say has more health benefits than just store-bought honey. So to every 3 cups of the juice, I add 1 cup of honey. And that's pretty well all I do. The elderberries itself has the antioxidants in it to help boost your immunity. So a lot of people use it during cold and flu season, which is what we do as well. But we like it any time. So the other thing that I did was I froze the syrup. I was going to do the berries itself, but I mean, it's kind of a pain to get them off the stem like this and then to make sure none of the stems are attached. So I just make the juice and then use the juice. So there's not a whole lot of pulp in it, and the seeds are pretty ferocious. I actually tried to run it through this machine behind me, my juicer, and it jammed it up. So I'll just stick with the syrup, make some jelly with it because the kids like the jelly, and one of the jellies that I made with the elderberries didn't set, so it's kind of like having elderberry syrup, I guess, just canned. So anyway, that's what I did with my last batch. This batch I'm going to try again making the jelly, but I'm going to try to work in smaller portions instead of doing the full 12 cups or the big batch that I was doing. I'm just going to do small batches at a time. One thing that they say if your jelly doesn't set is because you either undercooked it or overcooked it and either destroyed the pectin or didn't give the pectin enough time to set. So I'm going to try again. That's part of it, right? Is trying until you get it right. But that's what I plan on doing with these, is doing small batches of jelly. And after that, I'm going to be cutting up some peaches. Okay, so I had to put my elderberries aside for just a little bit. I do have about this much left to get taken off the stem, and I have a pot on the stove of elderberry juice. So I'm going to get to these peaches before it gets too late. If I don't have time to get the elderberry jelly finished, I can go ahead and put the juice in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow I can get it canned up. So right now these peaches are my first priority because I got them a few days ago and they're starting to turn. So I'm going to get these chopped up, and all I do is get a cookie sheet, and I have some of these reusable silicone sheets that I put just because it's easier to freeze them on. You can use parchment paper too, but I like to be able to reuse these. So I'm just going to put them in the freezer and get them frozen. Peaches are super easy if they're just perfectly ripe, to peel and to take off of the pit. And I have in the past taken the skins and made peach butter, and it was really good. It was a little bit more watery than I would have liked it to be, but it was definitely worth making. You know, everybody liked it. My kids will eat the peach with the skin and everything on it, which is probably better for them, really, because it has a lot of fiber in the skin. But as far as to freeze them, I'm going to take the skins off so I can use them in our oatmeal and other recipes, baking recipes, maybe a peach pie. Now some of these I want to keep for them that are still in pretty good shape. I'll leave about 4 of them out so that way they can have some fresh peaches. I'm by no means an expert at peeling peaches, and there's really not a science to it. I just cut it in half and then I quarter it, and usually, like I say, if it is ripe, it will come right off of the pit. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up cutting these peaches and put them in the freezer, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll show you all that I got from this batch, and we'll can some jelly. Hey everybody, I'm back to finish processing my peaches. I went ahead yesterday and I froze them. I have so far 2 1-gallon freezer bags. This will probably be another 1.5 gallons. So I'm going to go ahead and get these froze up, and then I have my elderberry juice that I also put into the refrigerator, and then I'm going to work in small batches canning jelly. So let's get this stuff put away. And yes, I washed my hands. I do like these silicone mats because usually if I can get it just right, I can pour them all in at one time. Let's see if I can do it. Just like that. And they're a little bit easier to break them apart. So I just kind of move them around, get them broke up, and they break up into small pieces. We have 3 full 1 gallon freezer bags and then about a half. So I'll put these in my freezer and then we'll go ahead and start working on the jelly. Okay, so I did get some of the elderberries juice last night. So I have them in 3-cup increments because the recipe that I have for jelly calls for 3 cups. So I'm going to be working in small batches just because it says to do that, first of all. And I've tried it in larger batches and my jelly just doesn't set. So I figured I'd follow the rules this time and maybe just work in the batches that it says to. So I'm going to go ahead and get these berries here strained out, and then I'm going to start with warming these back up because I did put them in the refrigerator last night. So I'm going to warm these up, and then the recipe says that I need to put 3 cups of elderberry juice, 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, I believe 49 to 57 grams of pectin, or 1 box, and then 4.5 cups of sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drained and then start getting my juice boiling. So I can't remember if I said or not, but I tried putting this through my juicer, and the seeds jammed up my juicer so bad that I had to take it apart. So I'm just pushing as much juice as I can through them. I probably could put it in a cheesecloth or in some sort of cloth and really, really strain it out a lot more, but I've got a lot, so I think that I'll just do it this way. Okay, so here's my 3 cups of juice. I went ahead and put the 4 tablespoons of lemon juice in with this juice. It says to put that in first, so it is cool. I'm going to go ahead and add the pectin first and then bring it to a boil, then add the sugar. There's my pectin, so that was 57 grams of pectin. I'm going to stir it up really good and get it to dissolve. And then when I get this to a boil, I'm going to add my sugar and then bring it back to a boil for another minute. So we'll see. I've not had very good luck with jelly, so I'm sure it's a learning process, and once I figure it out, I'm sure it's easy. I've even tried doing the jelly test where you run it off the side of a spoon. I'm not sure. So practice makes perfect, so I'll just keep on practicing. And then I have my 4.5 cups of sugar, close to, it might be closer to 4. That's a lot of sugar for 3 cups of juice, so I don't necessarily know that you have to have all the sugar, but we'll find out. So my jars are in here warming up. They're clean, sanitized. I just have them in the warm water or in the hot water, getting them up to temperature. And then on the bottom, this is the pot that I use. It's not actually a water bath canning technically, but It's what I use for small batches like this, and I don't have to get that huge container out. So I can fit in six. I can fit in 6-pint jars, or these, in this case I have small jelly jars in here, but I use the small rings around. I think there's 7 in there, and then right in the middle I put a large, the large rim in. So, and it keeps the jars off of the bottom, so that way they don't burst, and it's worked well for me. So I'm anxious to just try like sugar-free jelly, because I try to cut back on as much sugar as possible with my girls. So, but I've had such bad luck with just experimenting with jelly, I thought that I would try to do it by the book instead. So I'm gonna have to try other recipes that are sugar-free and see if I can get them to work. So. What's that old saying? A watched pot never boils, but it never fails. As soon as I turn my back, it's boiling over all over my stove and into the floor. So I'm keeping an eye on it this time. Alright guys, so I got it to a boil finally. I'm going to add in my 4 cups of sugar, and I'm going to bring it back to a boil for 1 minute. Okay, so you know how I said a watched pot never boils, and as soon as I walk away from it, then it'll boil all over the floor. Well, I went to shut my blind, and it boiled all over the place. So now that I got that mess cleaned up, I'm going to try to get this back to a boil for a minute. And I'm not leaving it until it boils for 1 minute, and I'm going to watch it the entire minute. I mean, it was so bad, my smoke alarm was going off. It was ridiculous. So, you're not watching an expert, you're watching an experimenter. I'm an expert by no means. I'm just doing what I do and hoping that other people will be encouraged to do it as well. Alright, looks like we have boil. I'm going to turn it down, because that's the only thing bad about an electric stove is even when you turn it down, the heat's still there. It takes a little bit of time. Gas stove, if you turn it down, the heat's instantly gone. So I really like a gas stove better than an electric stove. My next place, I hope to have a gas stove. Okay, there is like a film on the top that you're supposed to try to skim off before you put it in your jars. So there's still a little bit there. I think it said that you can add like margarine or butter as well, and it should help with that. So I'm probably not going to get a full 5 jars, because, well, half of it is on top of my stove and on my floor. So be lucky to get 3 maybe. It was a disaster. Maybe 4. Now, once you have your jelly in your jars, you need to wipe the top off really good to keep it from, so that way it'll get a good seal. I know all the steps to take, so it's just, I think you can read as many books as you want to, but when it comes right down to it, experience and just trying things out is better than reading any book. Okay, I have my lids in the hot water. I wish I was making 2 batches right now because 4 jars is not going to fill my canning. So I might try to make another batch real fast if I can get my ingredients together, so that way I can fill this canner jar up. We'll be back. All right, so I've got it all canned up. I ended up getting 19 half pints of elderberry jelly. I would have had 20, but my little mishap, I must have overflowed my pan and it ended up being a half pint all over the top of my stove. So we got 19, that's pretty good. Now I have to cross my fingers and hope it sets up. So, all right guys, that's it for today. I hope that you liked the video. I hope it encourages you to get out there and try to do a little canning and preserving, and make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.